Hey, what's up, everybody? Pat here, grateful recovering alcoholic and addict, just like every day. Guys, please don't forget to subscribe, leave the video a like, drop me a comment, and by all means share it with somebody who might get something out of it. Happy Saturday, everybody. Hope you're all having a good day. Guys, today's topic is going to be practicing honesty, which is something that's hugely important. And if I could explain that, then maybe you should be watching this video. But particularly for those of us coming out of active addiction, we were forced to live a lie. Just about 24/7, at least I know I was, and it bothered the hell out of me, and it kept me from progressing. Today, my life is amazing, and a huge part of that is because I practice honesty. And I'm not perfect, but I make it a point. If I catch myself being dishonest, I claim it. I'm literally not afraid to speak up and say, hey, you know what, sorry, old behavior, that's not the truth, and I find things go much, much better that way. So let me get into this, we'll read it, and then we'll talk about it. Practicing honesty. When we feel trapped or pressured, it takes great spiritual and emotional strength to be honest. Many of us try to wiggle out of a difficult spot by being dishonest, only to have to humble ourselves later and tell the truth. Some of us twist our stories as a matter of course, even when we could just as easily tell the truth. Every time we avoid being honest, it backfires on us. Honesty may be uncomfortable, but the trouble we have to endure from being dishonest is typically far worse than the discomfort of telling the truth. Honesty is one of the fundamental principles of recovery. We apply this right from the start when we finally admit powerlessness and unmanageability. We continue to apply the principle of honesty each time we are faced with the option of either living in fantasy or life on life's terms. Learning to be honest isn't always easy, especially after covering up deception for so long. Our voices may shake as we test our newfound honesty, but before long, the sound of the truth coming out of our own mouths settles any doubts. Honesty feels good. It is easier living the truth than living a lie. The affirmation is just for today. Today I will honestly embrace life with all its pressures and demands. I will practice honesty even when it's awkward to do so. Honesty will help, not hurt, my efforts to live clean and recover. Guys, that's certainly what I found. Like I said, one of the things that really, really, really bothered me in addiction was I didn't have the ability, and by nature, guys, I'm an honest person. Like, I appreciate the fact that I like to be honest, but in addiction, I was not able to do so. And it was one of the things that really, I was constantly in a depressive spiral because my life was forcing me to lie to everybody. And so what I would do is I would just cut everybody out because I'd rather not face people and speak to people and have to lie and make up bullshit as I go all day long because it just drove me absolutely batshit crazy. Today, I don't have to do that, and I'm able to rebuild all those relationships that I had to cut out of my life because I'm capable of being honest today. And the biggest reason is that I live an honest life. I don't do things, and again, I'm not perfect, guys. I catch myself slipping. But the thing is, guys, I live intentionally and I make up for those behaviors. I'm not afraid to admit, hey guys, listen, sorry, old behavior, caught myself slipping there. That's not the real truth. Let me tell you. And guys, as I've mentioned many times in this channel, as I've told stories from my past, it is shocking how different and I don't even do it. I don't even acknowledge it ahead of time. I will start to go to tell a story or respond to somebody asking me something, and after I am finished speaking, I'm like, that's a completely different version and an actual honest version of that story that I've never told like that. And I love that. So now I go back and I look at situations and I journal and I write things down. And it's amazing to me how much I'm able to learn because finally, for once, I'm not fooling myself. And that's the most important thing, guys. Don't get me wrong, I love being honest with other people and I'm getting a lot of rewards, a lot of good relationships. I'm getting a lot of support and friendships and just offers to collaborate with people because people know I'm completely honest and I tend to look at things from everybody's point of view and try to be as compassionate and as caring as I can. And guys, frankly, caring is sexy, man. It really is. I think a friend of mine, somebody I know, wore a sweater. I read that on a sweater one day, and I'm like, I really like that slogan. I might even do a whole video on that one day. But anyway, my point being, guys, is everybody's path is going to be different, right? And everybody's progress is going to be different. And it's one of the things I noticed in my meeting yesterday. There's different people from different walks of life in there, and there's some people that are doing really well and don't even see how well they're doing because they're still struggling to get out from underneath a mountain of bullshit. And typically it's because they're still in the court systems and things of that nature. but they're doing it and they're getting it done. And I'm like, you know what? I pulled one aside yesterday. I'm like, dude, just hold tight. You're doing so much better than you think you are. You're getting accolades from the judge and from your probation officer. I know you're still dealing with a lot, but you're going to get out from under it. If you keep doing what you're doing, just don't go backwards, right? That's the most important thing, guys. It's always progress, not perfection. Perfection doesn't exist. Perfection is an excuse to be stagnant and not have to face your fears. Face them, guys. I know for myself, the biggest blessings that have happened to me and continue to happen to me because I'm willing to step out of my comfort zone and claim my bullshit from the past. All the areas where normally, and even early on, guys, I gotta admit, I had every intention of just bullshitting my way through it because that's all I knew how to do. It's all I was used to doing for so long. But every time I caught myself doing it, because of the amount of prayer and meditation, I can't let it slide. It eats at me, and I'm so grateful for that. That's the biggest thing, guys, is my relationship with myself and my relationship with my higher power are keeping me accountable. Because, guys, I'm a very good liar. Like, I was a master at it. Most of us that have walked, decades of addiction, you become that way because you can't come at anything, head on and be honest because you got some bullshit baggage behind you on everything. Today I don't have to, and I'm enjoying the stress relief of just being honest, and I'm shocked by how well it's worked. Prime example, guys, is my relationship with my friend Doug, who's the relationship we have today. So many people are jealous of that. But that happened because for once in my life I was able to be honest with him. Like, I was terrified when I quit my job, owing him $12,000 and looking at being evicted, and he had held my apartment for me while I was in rehab, and I'm like, I owe him so much rent, and he just wants me to pay it off, and yet here I am quitting my job. Now he's gonna freak out, but I didn't. I just said to him, I said, listen, Doug, here's the deal. When I got back into work, Frank was going right to the drug dealer's house. He's getting fucked up all day in front of me. There's no way I'm going to remain sober there. You know me. I'm a hard worker. I'll find more work. And then Doug started taking up work and making calls for me. Ended up giving me the pickup truck so I could start my business. But because I was willing to be honest where it was most uncomfortable, and then I told that story to my recovery advisor, and she helped me get the Raft back rent help. Like, all these little things, guys, that literally propelled me to where I am today. And again, I'm not balling by any means, but I'm light years away from where I was 6 months ago. It's shocking. It's beautiful. Like, I've got opportunities to grow. I've been talking about, on Tuesday, I've got to go down to Cranston, Rhode Island to deal with something that's literally 27 years old. And when I finally get through that, it's going to open up an avenue that I've been, it's been a leash on my progress for 30 years. And I'm finally going to be able to put that to rest. And it might take 6 months to get it done, but at least I'm dealing with it. And for the once in my life, I'm capable of dealing with it because I've been living better and better and better and stepping up more and more and saving money because it's going to be highly expensive. But that's okay, guys. Money's an energy, and as long as I got my business, I'm picking up new contracts left and right. I'm saving money because I don't spend it stupidly. So I can take the chunk of money I've saved and apply it to where it needs to be right now, and then knowing full well 3-4 months from now, I'll make it right back and be able to put that down on a property. Like, there's no hurry, and that's the biggest thing, guys. Before, I'd be like, no, I can't deal with that now because I can't do this. But then I go try and go do this, and it gets blown up because I never took care of that. You got to take care of your liabilities before you can start manifesting beautiful new opportunities. And, there's a give and take to anything. But this is certainly what I found. And a big principle of it is being honest, guys. In order to move forward, in order to heal properly, you've got to start taking accountability and being honest with what really happened. And all of us are masters at sitting back and saying, well, I did this as a trauma response to that or that. And that very well may be the case. But in every situation, there's always everything that went wrong. There's always an opportunity to have made a better decision, regardless of how, how reasonable it was for us to act the way we had. And that's just being nice to you guys. We all know we do shitty things when we're in addiction. It's just part of the disease. It's a repercussion from having to make shitty choices and take from people and lie to people and not being honest with the stuff that we're doing every day, and it's terrible, and it weighs heavily on you, whether you feel it does or not. Unless you're a complete narcissistic psychopath, and I don't think very many of us are, then it's going to wear on you, and you might find ways to compartmentalize. Like I know I did. I was able to just not look and not be introspective. And guys, it was that ability to finally be willingness to be introspective and start taking accountability and then making changes of the behaviors that were holding me back that is propelling me into this beautiful new life that I'm just, I'm foundationally building. Things get better and better at an amazing clip at this point, guys. Even when I think things are stagnant, at the end of the month, I'll go over my finances and go like, wow, even with all the stuff that came up, I was able to take care of that and then still save a considerable chunk of money. Because I'm doing that, that trust fall I talk about all the time with my higher power, whom I chose to call God. Like, God, I'll step up. I will make the best decisions. I will pray. I will meditate. I will stop, digest, and react before I respond, rather than reacting to a negative stimuli. And that's made a huge difference, guys. As mad as I was at my former boss, who still owes me $1,000 for the work I did on this pickup truck, he called the other day, and I wanted so badly just to lay into him or call him out on his bullshit. But I know all that's going to do is start a pissing contest that's going to end up costing me, and because he plays dirty, and I'm not willing to drop to his level, so I don't need to be right. He knows what he's doing wrong. So instead, I spoke to him compassionately and just said, Frank, listen, you're going to need a lot more work on the truck. If you want to have a relationship with me, you've got to pay me for the work you did. No, I'm going to pay, I got to pay. And he does. He's got a big check coming from a house he finished down in Nantucket that's been going on for 2 years. And so I suspect that when he comes around, he will. But in the meantime, I just let him know. I said, okay, fine. But until you do, there's nothing else I can do for you. So I hope the pickup truck doesn't break down. Because I'm not going to continue to put, like, you owe me $900. That's a considerable chunk of cash. And I can't just let it go and then, allow you to bullshit me anymore. And that's why my life progresses, guys. I don't, initially, my first thought was, like, I wanted to get into a pissing contest with him and show him how much better I am. And that's not the case, guys. He was somebody that was there for me when I was fucking up. And granted, he's in a bad spot right now, but it doesn't mean I gotta shut the door and make him feel any worse. And I'm not gonna enable him in any way, shape, or form. Just like when I gave him a ride that morning and he went to open a bottle of vodka in my truck, and I shut him down. I said, absolutely not. And then I refused to take him anywhere else because I'm like, you're ready to start that shit? I'm dropping you off. And he accepted that. Guys, you gotta have proper boundaries. And I may need to have better boundaries than I do, and I'm trying. But again, it's progress, not perfection. I'm doing better and better every day. Things continue to get better and better every day. It's funny, I get up this morning, and every morning I get up and I check my channel for the night before, see if we have comments, and I like to respond to the comments. And there's a comment from my friend Fairy God May, and if you're watching, hey May, she was one of the very earliest people to see me do my early videos, and she pops in every few months and always leaves a comment, and it makes me feel incredibly. Like she left me a beautiful comment about the progress that I've made in 6 months and how she can see the energy and the difference, and I love that, guys. But that's because I get up every day and I start my day in prayer, start my day with meditation. I stop and I digest what I have. I journal things out. I look at the responsibilities. I try to do things to the best of my ability. And that's all it takes, guys. If you do that day in and day out, these things that are so awkward in the beginning start to become habit. And then before long, they become routine. And then they become your baseline. And then you're able to look at things even further and step up even further. Like, if you continue to apply these principles in your life on a daily basis, your life will just continue to get better and better every day that you go. And it's absolutely beautiful. Guys, so before I start rambling, we're going to leave it at that. It's Saturday. Guys, you know what? I just want to take a minute to thank. I know I do in every video, but I want you guys to know from my heart. It means the absolute world that the channel is picking up steam, and we're getting more views, and we're getting more comments, and we're getting more subscribers. It's absolutely amazing to me that I'm allowed to get on here and just try to share my experience, strength, and hope to help another person uplift themselves from their lives. And I just want you guys to know it means the absolute world to me. I love each and every one of you so much. God loves you. I love you. Thank you from my heart. We will see you in the next one.